Oh, look at that thing. That looks so cool.
How will we reach the surge?
We'll follow the coastline north. There's a bridge that'll take us across to the cape.
Might I inquire about the ray of light?
It's what prevents the surge from being reclaimed by the sea. And Dwalius by his people.
All right.
You said before that the child is bound within the surge.
Don't forget to get everybody. Make sure they get their spectators pass.
I trust we won't have to.
Because at the door, it's gonna be pretty hefty. So definitely take advantage of the prices.
Without engulfing it. If we continue to its tip, there is a path down to the seabed and the wave's origin.
All right. It won't be the first dominant we've met at the bottom of the ocean.
All right. The surge. Of course, this is probably where we're gonna fight Leviathan and acquire his power. I'm sure we're gonna fight Leviathan. We fought literally every single icon except Shiva.
It's not much further now.
The path seems
At least I remember. We even fought our own freaking
right?
icon, Ifrit.
Only me. Once every new moon without fail. It is my duty both as village elder and Dwalius's descendant.
But surely no one blames you for what happened. Why should you bear the responsibility alone?
You misunderstand. I do it because I want to. To show him that he isn't alone, and that there are still some of us who would see an end to his suffering. Suffering you will soon witness with your own eyes. The forest grows quickly here. Left unattended, the path would be reclaimed in a matter of moons.
This area is so cool, man.
Does the light point
Already better than the freaking echoes of the Fallen.
It does indeed.
Look at all the droplets of water suspended in midair.
You pronounce it that way? What? Koopa? Live Eothon? Why?
No, it's not.
God dang, Koopa.
Up ahead. Down in the
That's English for your second language? Okay, that makes sense. And you were 7. Well, that explains everything. And of course, there's no voice acting in Final Fantasy VIII at the time. And yes, that is true. Then Leviathan's dominant is a baby.
I'll never forget my first fear. And I was old enough to understand what was happening. One can only imagine how this poor child felt.
He is the victim of an unforgivable.
Of course, it
sin.
wasn't to you saw the word in high school. That was how you learned it was supposed to be pronounced.
He must be so frightened.
Then I'll ease his burden.
You don't mean.
I'm not going to hurt him. Contrary to the tales, I don't go around killing dominants for no reason. What if I told you there was a way to remove Walisthea's icon?
I tell you, you were a madman.
It's hard to believe, I know. But it can be done. Though, it isn't without its risks. Part of the icon remains no matter what.
So, it might still come to violence.
I don't know. It depends on the dominant. I've seen things end well, and I've seen things spiral out of control. But I do know one thing. If we turn our backs on this child, there will be no end to his suffering. And I think that a worse fate than the alternative. Don't you?
Very well. Do what you must. And whatever happens,
Leviathan is your second
there will
favorite
be
summon.
consequences.
Yeah, Leviathan is pretty cool. I think we're about to fight it. And then I know for sure we do acquire the power of Leviathan in this DLC.
Let me bear the weight.
I was like, I'm pretty sure we don't just take the power like that. Come on now, we gotta fight Leviathan.
It's going to be all right.
Is it done?
That's it. Would you get the power just like that?
I think so. I can feel the icon inside me. But something's wrong.
I was about to say. That's not Leviathan.
He wasn't just afraid. He was angry. All right. Let's see what you've given me.
Alright. So we got Okay, I guess we got power of Leviathan, I guess, without fighting him. Okay. So the power of water, of course. His features, separate cry. Tidal gauge. And the roll. Alright, let's try this out.
Is that Leviathan?
Just a negative, but a formidable adversary.
Thick. Oh shoot! There we go. Oh shoot! There we go. What does this ability do? Water machine gun! Oh, how do you... Okay, this is how you cancel, okay. Ouch. Let's get in there. Alright, so far these powers are not that great. Okay, so that's how it works. Okay. That fight was kind of lackluster, I'm not gonna lie.
Is everyone all right?
He seems calmer now.
You said Walius was frozen in time. But he knew we were here. How?
I don't know. He's never reacted to anything or anyone. Until now.
The child has been bound for nigh on a century. If he has been conscious from the first, we must remove the seal at once.
It's not that simple. I wish it were, but... there's more to this tale. It would be better if I explained back at the village.
I see. Then let's return before it gets dark.
Yeah, my favorite summoning icons are Aeon's Koopa on my list. I can definitely say Bahamut,
I will make this right.
Leviathan, Titan for sure as well, and Odin.
So, part of Leviathan is inside you now, is it? Does it hurt?
No. Not anymore, anyway.
Good. Because I still have need of your strength. If you want to know the rest, we should head to the Witten Hall.
Of course.
To understand
Sucks
the
that we don't get to
story
fight
of
Leviathan,
Valisthea,
man. That's...
you must first know who we are.
that would have been an epic boss battle
and
too.
what drove my forebears to commit such an atrocity. This...
Like Ifrit versus Leviathan. Who would definitely want to?
the one that brought us here.
Who would definitely would not want to see that?
After generations of wandering, my people sought refuge in northeastern Storm, some 170 years ago. But in exchange for our safety, the Gregorian Church demanded we renounce our faith and branded us heretics when we could not.
To be exterminated, as a lesson to others.
And so was it chronicled in the imperial histories, for anything less would have made the Church seem weak. Yet a handful survived. The few who did fled north and west, and in doing so discovered two things that would forever shape our fates. The first was an old legend, revealing how to make your very own mother crystal.
I've heard that one before.
Yes, yet it gave them new hope, however false. Our ancestors convinced themselves that they could recreate the divine if they could only find a strong enough heart. A living being capable of channeling torrents of ether. and the heavens provided.
A dominant. Well, yes.
They'd stumbled across a nostrum in an ancient ruin, which they believed could provoke a sudden outpouring of a creature's ether. They meant to enrage his Eikon. Leviathan would have destroyed everything, had our people not made their second important discovery. A means to stop time itself.
Where did they find that? The Northerners had no such magics, or they would have used them.
When our ancestors first arrived, the land was uninhabited, save for an old witch who lived on the highest peak. Her body had been consumed by the curse, a cruel payment for her long years of service to the Northern Thanes. So desperate were they to prevent the fall of Drake's Eye, they'd forced her to devise a spell to stop time.
But Drake's Eye did fall.
It did. When she finally perfected the necessary magics, it was already too late. As punishment for her failure, the Thanes exiled her to this forsaken place to live out the few days she had left. Knowing her suffering, our ancestors cared for her as best they could, and in return, she gifted them her spell. That even though she should die, her legacy might live on. So armed with both the knowledge of the ancients and the secrets of time, our ancestors settled upon an ambitious plan. They would create a new Mother Crystal and enchant it that it might endure for all eternity. Thus would our people's wandering, our suffering, finally end, and prosperity visit us once more. And all it would require was the sacrifice of a single child. A small price to pay, or so they believed.
Another victim of man's blind reliance on the Mother Crystals. So we know the seal source. How do we break it and restore the flow of time?
Do you recall the dome of light on top of the cliffs to the west? Inside lie the ruins of an old temple. It was there that the witch built the Ver, a conduit of sorts that channels her remaining ether into the surge. But it's been a long time since anyone set foot in the place. And now, there are others who claim it as their own.
Then we shall go prepared for a fight. That said, it may be best if one of us stays behind.
You think the village could be in danger?
We saw the ether flow from Walius in all directions, but only encountered a single familiar. There will be more. And should even one make its way here, I doubt the walls could hold it back for long.
Then I shall stay. The Phoenix will see your people safe, tributary.
You have my thanks.
Very well. We should depart at once. I fear time may no longer be a luxury we can afford.
The Ver is not easy to find. We must first head north, and then west, deeper into the forest.
Alright. Wow. Where all these cyclists come from? Alright, we're not gonna do that quite yet. But we're gonna do that after these cyclists. Or depending how much time we got left on this one.
Just try to breathe. That's it.
Is everything all right?
Ah, you're the outsider. I'm Fanit, healer by trade. And this is Talor, one of my patients. He took ill not long after you arrived.
Nothing too serious, I hope.
I hope so too,
But
this affliction, it's like nothing I've ever seen before. He complains of feeling chilled to the bone, but there's no fever to go with it. And my most powerful antalgic hasn't done a thing to ease the pain in his chest. I'm starting to wonder if his condition might require a different kind of treatment altogether. Shula said that you were here to help us. You couldn't help me, could you?
I'd be happy to. If I can.
You can, don't worry. All I need you to do is speak to Talor's son, Pavat, over at the forge, and ask if he knows what his father was up to before he came down sick. Something must have caused this, and I want to find out what. The trouble is, Talor's too weak to speak, and I can't leave his side for long. So while you talk to Pavat, I'll pay his wife word a quick visit, just in case she knows anything.
Right.
Let's do this.
Oh, do you need something?
I do, though not from the forge. Fanit asked me to speak with you. She's looking into the cause of your father's illness and wondered if you could shed any light on the matter.
I see. Sorry. She shouldn't have dragged you into this.
It's no trouble, really. Tell me, did your father do anything out of the ordinary before he fell ill?
Not that I know of. But then I hardly see him. He's always out and about, like. Well, at least he was. Suppose he might have been a bit more fidgety than usual, but apart from that...
When you say out and about, where does he usually go?
Just round the village. Wanders over to Valisthea's place most days. He's a fisher who lives on the other side of the fount. They're old friends. Maybe he knows something I don't.
Maybe. I'll go and speak with him.
Let's go check it out. I wonder which one's going to be the one that leads us to the Tomberry King.
Greetings, stranger. What can I do for you?
Your name is Blazir, is it not? Pavat tells me you're a friend of his father's, and that the two of you may have spent some time together prior to his illness.
His illness? Talor's never been ill a day in his life. I don't know why he'd start now.
Oh, Fanny doesn't know either. It was she who asked me to look into his recent behavior on the off chance it might explain how his condition arose.
Oh, I suppose there was something that struck me as a bit odd. He kept asking about the woods. Did you see anything strange on your way back from the shore? Are you certain? Do you swear? That kind of thing. I didn't, of course. But he wouldn't let it go. It was like he was expecting something to happen. It was just a matter of when. Not that I know what. But he never told me anyway.
Well, that certainly does sound unusual. And it might just be what Fanit is looking for. Thank you.
Don't mention it. Oh, and when you say Talor, wish him the best from me, yeah?
Let's see what the healer makes of this.
So, I think this is actually the quest that does lead me to the Tomberry King.
I spoke with Werder, but she couldn't tell me anything. Did you have any better luck?
Nothing conclusive. But there was one thing. Blazir, the fisherman, told me that Talor had taken a sudden interest in the forest of late. He kept asking him if he'd seen anything unusual there on his way back from the coast, but never let on what exactly he was expecting him to have seen.
The forest. between here and the coast? Surely not. But then... I can't say for sure. But I think Talor's illness might have some connection to the Tomberries. You may have encountered them
Honbors.
during your time here.
That's how they pronounce it in this game, really? With their accents?
And you think they may have
Yep,
caused
this
her
would do it.
illness?
I do. At least
This
in a
does
way
leave it to the
I
Tomberry
found.
King.
No wonder the treatments I've been trying didn't work.
And
Oh, no, it's a
oh
lot
lord, the
worse.
Tomberries in this game
Father's
are
left me.
very scary to look.
And if my fears are true and offering upon it,
What is
I haven't got hit by one yet, but
please
oof.
explain everything when you return.
Just looking at them, I'm like, oh my god,
I beg you.
that can give you
Return
nightmares,
to
man.
Father's Fell and take the offering from the altar. Talor's
They're
life
not
is
small, they're-
depend on it.
They're not small like all the other Final Fantasy games. They're actually oh my god. Yep, that's what they look like. Like, oh my god, they do not look.
What are they up to?
They do not look like childish at all.
Sort of ritual.
Like, look how tall they are.
Sorry to disturb you.
I'm staying away from them. Oh wow. Oh, get away from me! Get away from me! Get away from me! Oh, more of them, wow. Yeah, so that's what a Tomberry looks like in this game. And I'm pretty sure one chef's knife from him is insta kill. That's why I'm using Leviathan's power.
It's over.
Alright. Yeah, if you guys do not know what Tomberries are in a Final Fantasy game, yeah, enjoy it.
Altar, then.
Final Fantasy VIII Tomberry King was the stuff of nightmares. Yeah, that's what it definitely would be. But you saw what the Tomberries look like in this game, you're like, golly, they look scary.
Silver chain. I doubt the Tomberries made it. This must be what Fennec was talking about.
And I like how they pronounce them in this game. With their accents, they're like, Tomberries. Tomberries. Oops. And yes, there is a Tomberry King in this game that we're going to be fighting. So get your popcorn ready, folks.
Well, did you find anything?
I did. This silver chain.
I knew it.
Well, I'm still none the wiser.
Forgive me. This chain. It's a Gregorian Maternoster.
Yeah, a Tomberry in a Final Fantasy game, they're only like 2 to 3 feet tall. But in this game, they're like human size. They're like 6 feet tall, like or the same. I think they're taller than Clive.
They feed.
And the Tomberry King is like 10 feet tall. or actually 6 foot tall,
Some say
6 or 7 foot
that
tall.
if you bring them an offering so
In any of the other
much
Final
that
Fantasy
it
games,
offends
so
your fellow man, they will put a curse
yeah,
on you.
I don't want to imagine how tall that thing is gonna be in this game.
Curse onto law.
We're still gonna find out.
I can't say for sure. Truth be told, I always assumed it was an old wives' tale. But given his fear of the forest and the presence of the chain on the altar, I don't know what else to think.
Does Talor have any enemies in the village? Anyone who would nurse such a grudge?
No.
You should send me a reaction
I
when
believe the one who
I was
left
playing
the
Rebirth
chain at the
Koopa.
altar was...
When I had to fight 10 Tom Berries all at once. That was not fun.
But there's more to the tale, you see. It's said that if you attempt to curse a soul that has returned to the sea already, your ire has nowhere to go but back to its source.
You're saying he cursed himself?
In trying to curse another, aye.
When my father was younger, he was one of the few permitted to venture beyond the wall on trading expeditions. He told us that when he journeyed to Sanbreque, he'd wear that chain to disguise his true beliefs, lest Grieger's faithful turn their cudgels on him.
Did they ever catch him in his deception? Might that explain the ill will he bears someone?
Not that he ever told me.
Come now. Let's not waste time speculating about Talor's past. We need to focus on the present, and that means
You had to fight
finding a way
20.
to break the curse.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
All right. If there's anything I can do to help, let me know.
Thank you. I shall.
Aye, and thanks for going to all this trouble. Here, it's not much, but I want you to have this. We call it an adder stone. It's a gatherer's charm. Reacts to certain rare minerals we use in crafting. Makes them ring out like a bell. Stuff you'd have no chance of spotting otherwise. If you find anything, see that you bring it back to me. I can make you some decent gear with it. If you're interested, like.
I am, thank you. And I'll be sure to pay you a visit. Until then, I wish your father a swift recovery.
We're separate rings, okay. Separate rings. Okay, they're fine.